Hello, and welcome to episode 9 of the TryLine podcast. In this one, we cover all the big news, and we actually talk about State of Origin because it's only 2 months until the first game. So we've got our jerseys on, and it's never too early to talk about Origin. So we'll get into a little bit of that. But first, some breaking news right before we went on air, Denny. Anthony Griffin has been named the new St. George Illawarra Dragons coach for at least the next 2 years. So what do you think about that one?
I think he's a good coach. I think he might be good for the Dragons. I guess time will tell whether it was actually the coach or it was the players that had the Dragons in that horrendous slump.
Yeah, well, I know when the last time he coached the Panthers, he was actually let go from that role while the Panthers were running fourth. So he's got some runs on the board and we'll see how he goes. Anyway, State of Origin. I'm a Queenslander. You're a New South Welshman. No one holds that against you. But I thought we'd just dip our toes into a little bit of Origin chat. I thought we would maybe pick our two bolters, maybe people that we wouldn't expect to get picked for each team. And I thought that one of us could pick for Queensland, you could pick for Queensland, and I'll pick for New South Wales. And I think you should go first.
I'll go first. Yeah. You threw me in the deep end, mate.
Yeah, let's go.
I came prepared. I think Tino Asumalawi. I think he's a bolter, mate. If you ever seen a bolter, it'd be Tino. The way he's playing down at Melbourne at the moment, unbelievable. He's a strong, big forward. He can play anywhere in the forwards, back row, front row, lock. I think he'd be a good addition to the Maroons team, although I hope they don't pick him.
So off the bench?
Off the bench, yeah.
So that's funny because we've both picked bench locks. I've picked Kevin McInnes. Now, I know the Dragons aren't travelling that well at the moment, but you look at Cam McInnes, no one can say anyone gives more effort than that bloke. He literally tackles his heart out every week. I reckon he's built for Origin, and I reckon he'd be a handy pick up on the bench there for New South Wales because he can come in, play hooker. He can play anywhere in the back row. Really, if you really needed it to him, he could probably slot in the front row. He plays lock anyway, so he'd be a good get, I reckon.
Yeah, I agree with you there, mate.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the Origin chat. We'll really get into it in the coming weeks. We're going to both pick our sides probably in a month. We'll probably both pick our sides. And I look forward to Queensland winning that series 3-0 comfortably.
Keep dreaming, mate. Keep dreaming.
All right. Let's get into a little bit of game chat. State of Origin of sorts. Broncos-Panthers on Thursday. The Broncos, they played a little bit better in this one, I thought. I thought they had some good effort. But again, Panthers win 12 straight. They're really earning that favourites tag at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Panthers. I think that's 12 in a row for them. The Broncos are looking better. I think they did complete it something about 84%, something like that, which is good. You'd beat a few teams with that, but Penrith, I think they're just on fire at the moment, and it would take a lot more than 84% to beat them.
Yeah. I think I would say that they would win probably the rest of the games in the year, but I do think they'll be resting some players coming up in the next few games. Probably after next week, they'll start resting some players. Knights Sharks. The Knights secure their 2020 finals berth for the first time in 7 years with a win over the Sharks. Good bounce back here for the Knights. I thought on the back of Ponga, and Mitchell Pearce has been unbelievable in the last few weeks. They reckon he's carrying an injury. He has been for a few weeks, but he's been busting his ass out there. And Mitchell Pearce, yeah, they reckon he's got a shoulder injury. He has had for a few weeks, but he's playing really well. And Ponga, that first half for Ponga, they tried to kill him in the second half because he was playing that good.
Yeah, bloody Townsend almost took his head off the
Jesus Christ.
off that
The
seven tackle
20,
set. Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a dog shot. Do you think it was high?
Um, I don't know about a send off. I don't know about a send off, but I thought probably definitely 10 in the bin. But gee, I just love it. I love that stuff. He shot out of the line, is probably offside. One, he was offside. Two, it was a shoulder charge. Three, it was late, like after he called time off. So it's a trifecta. He'll miss some games.
Yeah, just a couple.
What was he thinking though?
I don't know. I think he had enough time to pull out of that for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
100% he did. Maybe he just thought, oh, Ponga might have been giving him the crap, so
They
take
reckon
his head off.
they might rest Ponga this week as well. There's some news around resting Ponga now that they've locked up the final spot. Because especially this year, it doesn't really matter finishing fifth to eighth. Like they're not going to have many crowds there anyway, so it's still sudden death. All right, on to the next one. Rabbitohs lost to the Storm in this one. The Rabbitohs proved to, I think, everyone that they can mix it with the best teams in the competition in this one. They definitely, I reckon, they prove they can win the comp. And if you can match it with the Storm, and no one will say the Storm beat the Rabbitohs, they'll say the Rabbitohs beat the Rabbitohs in this one. So I reckon the Rabbitohs can win the comp.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, they led, what, 14-10 at half time. And then just the amount of errors that they made in that second half. I mean, they completed at 66%. You're not going to meet many teams completing at 66%, sorry, let alone the Storm. They're just a good team.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. When you play the Storm, you need to play your best. Otherwise, you won't be winning. Like they're just that professional. They hung in there and they were just too good in the end. But if the Rays can just hold the ball, complete their sets, I reckon they can mix it with anyone this year.
100%.
All right, one that wasn't as high quality was the Bulldogs and Titans, although Bulldogs showed a lot of fight in this. But the Titans pulled it out and won their first back-to-back win since round 6 last year. So first time they won 2 in a row since then.
Wow.
My main point out of this: do you think Jamal Fogarty is one of the finds of the season?
I think he is. I've had raps on him since round 5. I think he's a gun. Not many people do, but I think the way he can steer a team around, I think he's got a good kicking game. He's a good runner of the ball.
Yeah.
I think he's a very, very good find. Very good find.
Can find the try line.
He got run down by a front rower, so wouldn't say that just yet.
No, I think he holds on to that jersey next year. They got that Kane Elgie coming back, but I think Fogarty's shown enough this year that he deserves first crack when they've got that good side there next year.
100% he does. He's definitely done a lot for the club since he's come in.
Yep.
And they look a lot better with him on the field than when he's not on the field.
All right, the next game, we spoke about it last night. I didn't see any defence in this game from either side. Jesus Christ.
Especially in the last 10 minutes.
Well, I went and had a look. 45 missed tackles combined in this game.
It's a lot of missed tackles.
Yeah, well, it's one more than 44.
Wow.
Yeah. The credit to the West Tigers, though, they hung in there and they ended up stealing it late. They scored, was it 14 points in 11 minutes, something like that?
They scored 16 points in about 10 minutes, 11 minutes.
Yeah, Jesus. All right. I thought Adam Dewey looked a lot better in the centres.
Yeah.
I think you keep him in the centres. He's a real danger for that crossfield kick there on the try line because he's got a good pair of hands. They still need a fullback. We know that they don't see Moses as a full-time solution there. And also, the other point out of this game, David Norfoluma, in a losing side, in a side that struggled all year, has just tried and tried and tried every single week. He's leading the He's leading the try scorer list. I think he's had a great season.
Well, he's also leading the tackle bust list, I think. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to double check that with our people.
With our
Go
people.
over the numbers. Yeah, go over the numbers. But I'm pretty sure he's leading the tackle bust list as well. It's between him and Kalen Ponga because Ponga had an unbelievable game. But one of the highlights out of this game, actually, not from any of the players, was one of the fans when Dewey was kicking one of his goals.
Oh,
Did
yes.
you saw that video?
Yeah.
Compensate.
Compensate, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
I thought that was,
outstanding.
yeah,
If
awesome
anyone
video.
hasn't seen that,
Crack up.
we actually put that on our Twitter today. So check that out at TryLine YT on Twitter. Yeah, the fan yell and compensate. It's better when they don't yell anything stupid, when it's actually like helpful. It's actually funny to listen to. No, that was a good laugh.
Yeah.
Got a grand final rematch on the last game on Saturday. It had a big game feel. The whole game, the build up. Sonny was back. The Roosters had a lot of troops back in. The Raiders were peaking right at the right time. It had a big game feel, and I thought it lived up to the hype. I thought it was a great game. The Roosters picked up a 12-point win. Sonny Bill didn't play many minutes, but that was to be expected.
Yeah.
What was unexpected is they played him in the middle of the park. Did not expect that. Do you reckon they were trying to protect him a little bit?
Yeah. I think they were definitely trying to protect him. I mean, you look at the Raiders back rowers. They've got Johnny Bateman and Elliot Whitehead. They're both pretty good runners of the footy. So you chuck him in there in the middle with a couple of good other defenders around him, and I think that's what they were doing, just keeping him safe.
When they bring him on, they actually made a few changes and they got a lot of fresh players around the middle. I think they were really trying to just protect him so he didn't get found out because the game's a lot quicker than when he left. But do you think he stays in the middle? Do you think they move him to the edge?
He'll be moving to back to the edge once he gets a little bit more fitness in him.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little bit of I don't know, good and bad news, I guess. Papali was gone in the first 30 minutes, but he's been cleared of any serious injuries. He can still miss a week against the Dragons next week. But there's also been talk about Papali moving back to Queensland because he's been a little bit homesick.
Yeah, I heard that.
So what do you reckon? Do you reckon he'll stay in Canberra, re-sign, or he'll move back up to Queensland?
Well, we spoke off air and Ricky Stewart come out and said he wanted him to be a Raider for life. And when they asked for Papali the next day, what do you think about that? He said, oh, yeah, no, I'll have to talk to the missus. That is not the answer you want to hear if you're a Raiders fan, is it?
No.
Like the coach comes out in rap shirt and says, you want him to stay here for life, and he comes out ums and ahs to the media. So that was, I think, a big question mark right there. Just one more point to sound off about this game. A lot of people, there was a lot of backlash to the amount of exposure Sonny Bill Williams got, like saying he turned his back on the game and he's not going to be that good and it's not that good for the game. Sonny Bill Williams, playing in this game, generated an estimated $32 million worth of exposure for the NRL.
Wow.
So shouldn't that tell you everything you need to know about what the guy brings to the game?
I guess that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. He was on the back page of every paper, front and back page, all the way leading up to it. He was all over Fox. He was all over Channel 9. He was everywhere. And I guarantee more people tuned into the game. Like, I haven't seen the ratings, but I guarantee more people tuned in the game. No matter what anyone says, no matter if he plays 4 minutes on the weekend, Sonny Bill Williams is good for rugby league.
Yeah, definitely.
That's it. I'll stop because I'm in love with the man. But he's good for rugby league. All right, first game on the Sunday. Your Eels bounce back here, mate. I thought this was one of the games of the weekend to watch. I really enjoyed watching it. I thought when the Warriors get in that little mood where they want to throw the ball around a little bit and play a little bit of touch football, geez, they're good to watch. And the Eels were solid without being fantastic, and they held on to win.
Well, yeah, I'm happy that they got the win, but there were There are a few dodgy calls to Para. When Nathan Brown went up for that bomb and RTS, he took RTS out.
Yeah.
I thought that was definitely a penalty. No way is that not a penalty in any other game. In any other game, you take out the fullback when you go for a catch. Doesn't matter if you're looking at the ball or you're not. That's a penalty.
Yeah.
And Jazz Kavunga, when he got sent off or sent for 10, sorry, for striking. I don't know if that's 10 in the bin.
Bit of an
And
overreaction.
yeah, I think so too. Off the back of that, Parramatta scored those 2 tries. So you take away those 2 tries, or it's 13 on 13. It would have been a lot closer. But some bad news for Eels fans. Reid Marnie, he's damaged his AC joint. So he's out indefinitely.
Yeah.
How big of a loss for Parramatta is Reid Marnie?
I think it's huge. When they're going well, Reid Marnie is one of the better players in the comp when they're playing well. But I reckon that's a massive loss. Then they lost Dylan Brown and Reid Marnie in back-to-back weeks. That really puts a dent in their premiership hopes. Speaking of that jersey punch, I watched a video last night where Paul Gallen punched the head off Nate Miles in State of Origin. Didn't even get put in the bin.
That's because it was a good hit.
That's when was that? 2014? Was that 2014? 2013? And or 2012? It was sometime around then. And what? We're only 7 years removed from that, and someone gets put in the bin for punching someone in the head with a bit of fabric between their knuckles. So the game's kind of come a long way.
Not in the right direction.
Not in the right direction. Jeez, I'm a Queensland supporter, and I loved watching Nate Miles get his head punched in.
Because he's a Derek.
Yeah, geez, that was good to watch. Anyway,
with all the other Queenslanders.
What else was good to watch? Enough of that. What else was good to watch? Last game of the round, Cowboys break their losing streak. They win 23-22. Valentine Holmes probably had his best game since he's been back in the NRL. And I think his best football is still ahead of him. And I think he'll get a spot on the wing for Queensland.
Yeah, I definitely thought he was. He definitely played his best game of the 2020 season. Up at fullback there. The Cowboys, what they lose in a row? Nine in a row, I think it was.
9 in a row, yeah.
Oh, pardon me. So good for them to get the win. It was a bit of a back and forth game. You know, could have gone either way. The Dragons did have their opportunities, but obviously the Cowboys just capitalised on what opportunities they were given.
Yeah.
Oh, pardon me.
Just before we finish, do you think Katoni Staggs or Tom Trbojevic in the centres for New South Wales? You think Turbo gets a spot?
No. I can't see Turbo getting a spot there. He's been injured for however many weeks now. Pardon me. I just don't see him making the squad.
Yeah. I
think Katoni Staggs he's on fire at the moment.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for this one. Don't forget to check out our YouTube and check out our Twitter as well at TryLine YT. And remember, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Google Podcasts, I think we're on LimeWire. We're across it all. Any podcast platform, check us out. And don't forget to enjoy your dinner. Thanks, guys.